this past Monday Night Football, specifically Niners Bills game, something really crazy happened to me. And for those that are in the Discord or follow me on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, seeing that something great and something tragic happened to me on the same day, something very rare. And I know I could have talked about this on another video, but of course I got to talk about it on the DFS video because hey, it's DFS and it's exactly what we talk about. It's GPPs, it's DraftKings, and here we go. And you're seeing this correct. I won a $1 million big pool GPP, 250,000 to first place. And I try to look at this objectively, how rare this outcome was, that I won first place, yet I tied with, that's right, 209 people, if you can see right here. And this stuff, it does happen. So I'm not going to say it's not astronomical, but it is quite rare. You might see a 300 way tie in a big GPP like this. But it's very rare. So I just looked at the Millionaire Showdown that happened Thursday night, and I think it was tied between two people, and then the rest was tied between about was it like 100 something, 130, I don't know. But that was a much bigger pool, and so what I'm trying to say is that maybe under 15%, under 10% chance this would happen. So yeah, I did crush it and get first place, perfect lineup for the Showdown Monday Night Football game. But in a rare circumstance, I tied with 209 people. So instead of winning 30K or 50K, which is what I thought I was going to win, or even 250,000K, $250,000, I ended up winning only 2,300. So very rare circumstance. It's still cool because that's my main goal, was to win a big GBP. Never won a big GBP like this ever before. So very bittersweet. I would have been like way more happy, way more ecstatic. Even if I won like 10K, that would have been great, because the most I've won is, I think, 2,500. I took down a small GPP a couple years ago, and I've won a lot of smaller GPPs, 2,000 in that range, $400, 2,000, 1,000. I won a lot of those, but never won this big. So bittersweet. I'm not going to let it take away from the accomplishment, because this is one of my big goals, to take down a tournament this big. And I did 107,000 entries, first place. So hopefully I could do it again. We'll see. As far as last week's video, we did pretty well. Guys like Derek Carr really hit. Jared Goff did okay. And so it was a pretty good video. Some of the bold contrarian picks really didn't hit. But the stacks, which is I think the most important part, is starting with that key quarterback that has a lot of upside, and also that key receiver you're going to stack that quarterback with. If you nail that, which was pretty much had to be Derek Carr and Waller, like it hands down was a great, not that you could have won the $1 million without Derek Carr, you could have, but Derek Carr and Waller was definitely a huge hit. I had him in more than one lineup, more than one entry, and it didn't hit big, but it was in the green, so it did well. We could have did much better with those crazy contrarian picks. Not too many of those hit, but let's see if we can do that this week. So last week, I'm going to chalk it up as a good video. Not great, didn't quite crush it, but still, we did okay. So anyway, guys, let's go on to the week 14 picks. What we like to do on this video is not talk too much about the obvious picks, but focus more on contrarian picks, upside risky picks, and punt picks that's going to help you win GPPs. Ladies and gentlemen, Couch Fam, these are my week 14 NFL DFS picks for DraftKings tourneys. So quarterbacks, I think this is not going to be contrarian, but I'll give it a shot. because Herbert has basically had one bad game this entire year. He's been phenomenal for a rookie quarterback. He's elite. And he had one bad game. It was this past week. I still think that maybe 97% of fantasy fans are going to believe that Herbert will bounce back. So it's not going to affect it that much. We'll get a slight dip, maybe like 0.5% less ownership this week in entries. Nonetheless, the guy has a lot of upside. Great matchup against the Falcons. He will bounce back. I think just about everyone believes that. And also, this is a team that heavily relies on Herbert to make plays. Even if they do use the running back position a lot, they do throw to them a lot. It's usually not a team where you're going to see multiple rushing touchdowns from the running back, because they got a guy like Eckler, who's an amazing, explosive pass-catching running back. He can also play receiver. So, yeah, we got Herbert for 6,800. The main reason I am mentioning him, when I just said less obvious players we like to mention, is because he did have a terrible game against the Patriots. They whooped him 45-0, which was a little bit of a surprise there. And then I got these other two, because I think a lot of obvious quarterbacks are going to do well, but I do have two that I did want to talk about before we move on, and that's Mike Glennon. I'm not going to have too many picks this video, going to keep it a little bit shorter. Mike Glennon at 5,100, a little bit more of a cash play than a GPP play, I would say, just because of the value. The matchup is there. The game script is there. Jags will need to throw the ball in the fourth quarter. And Glennon hasn't been good, but he hasn't really been bad either. Tight ends defense has always been bad, and they're not going to be able to stop them. Another small positive you could say about Glennon is he's got James Robinson that he can throw to. So James Robinson might catch a pass or two and take it to the house, or at least get some big explosive plays out of those short air yard receptions. And then we got Drew Lock, same price, 5,100. This is my ideal GPP contrarian candidate. Price, check. Matchup is okay, not great. And volatility upside is there. Floor is horrible. I mean, look, if you can see these numbers, if you don't have a tiny screen, well, I'll just sum it up. Basically, he does really bad some games. Single digit points, 0 points. And he's going to have a couple games, like against the Falcons, where he put up 33 fantasy points. So it's rare. He's really not been that guy this year. But I think in a game against the Panthers, I think he does have some upside. Basically, it's going to be hard to find a quarterback that's minimum price that offers some upside. And so and is going to be contrarian. So that's where Drew Lock does fall. Now, I do have, I don't want to just give you guys crappy options. There are some good options here. Like Rodgers has a high floor. Kyler Murray is going to be contrarian. Kirk Cousins going up against the Bucks. Good run D, bad pass defense, as we've seen the last couple weeks. Trubisky going against the Texans, just double down on him again. It didn't work out last week. Maybe it does. So I do have a lot of options, but those are the three I really wanted to point out to you. I think these next picks will be much more beneficial to you guys. So for running backs, I'm going to fade Dalvin Cook. Too expensive, bad matchup, not worth it. Derrick Henry, I'm okay with that. A little bit cheaper. I think he's going to get like 30, 40 fantasy points against the Jags. The Jags are god-awful on defense and pretty bad on offense too. I guess that makes my Glennon pick sound bad. Am I contradicting myself? Yeah. Because, there's a really good chance Glennon's going to suck. That's the GPP life we live, though. There's that small glimmer of hope that Glennon's going to finish top 6 quarterback, right? Garbage time points count, too. They count the same amount of points for garbage time. Lots of good options in this price range around that 7,000. But there's 3 guys I did want to talk about. And you probably don't want to have both in the same game. This is not a good GPP strategy to have both. So try to only pick one in your GPP lineups. So that's Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 5,900. I'm telling you right now, you probably came to this conclusion too, that his perception is down right now. People are very emotional about Clyde Edwards-Helaire, how he put up a 0 in their season-long leagues. The trust is not there. The price is okay. It's not good. It's not bad. It's 5,900. Matchup is okay as well. Dolphins have really good defense. Not so good against the running back position. And I think it's painfully obvious what the Dolphins have to do to keep this game close. And that's to slow down Mahomes and the explosive passes. If they can do that, they'll keep this game within a touchdown or two and at least have a shot at winning it. If they focus on stopping the run and play risky like the Buccaneers did, then this game could get easily out of hand. And so that's why I do like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's going to have soft boxes. He's going to be contrarian. He's got a decent matchup. He can catch the ball. And now he's fully rested. Didn't even play last week. I don't think he took one snap last week. He was purely an emergency running back. So I really think it's going to bode well for him. Now, this is risky, though. Don't get me wrong. Maybe Andy Reid is saving him yet again for the playoffs. We don't know that. He's done this before. We saw last year with Damian Williams, where Damian Williams seemed amazing and seemed awful at the same time in the same year. But come playoffs and come, towards the end of the playoffs, Damian Williams looked amazing, and in the Super Bowl put up like 30 fantasy points. So we don't know what's going to happen. Like I'm saying, Clyde, great GPP pick. And that does make him an awful cash game pick, though. Absolutely awful. In the same game, we have Myles Gaskin. I'm seeing that a lot of Dolphins running backs are out yet again. And we know Jordan Howard's no longer part of the team. So Myles Gaskin, good matchup. Not the best game script, but he can catch it. I'm seeing here against the Rams, he had 6 targets. Jets, 4 targets, 5 targets against the Niners. So he's been getting a good amount of targets. That looks like about 5 targets per game, which is great for a running back. Price is very cheap, I would say. Floor is pretty high. Upside is going to really rely on the pass game and touchdowns. Might not get too many against the Chiefs, but hey, this is the GPP life. We're just going to hope to get lucky and get a multiple touchdown game if we pick Myles Gaskin. Me, I'm probably going to have at least one of those guys in most of my GPP entries. Love the price. Makes my lineups entries very flexible. We didn't do the 4K club last time, and I feel bad for that. But I do have a couple 4K players. They kind of suck. I guess we'll do the 4K club. So the last running back I wanted to talk about that's not quite in the 4K club is J.D. McKissic. We can perhaps... we won't. We won't get a good deal on him. We won't be contrarian because the price is so dang cheap. And we know Antonio Gibson's a hot topic with the fantasy community. Always talking about Gibson. We know that Gibson is out. McKissic is the man. He can run. He can catch. And Alex Smith loves to use the running back position. Washington loves to use the running back position, especially Smith throwing to him. Seems like whenever McKissic's playing a lot of snaps, he gets so much work in the pass game. 10 targets, 10 receptions against the Steelers. That alone is 10 fantasy points right there. And we saw against the Lions, 15 targets, 7 receptions. That's insane. Don't you wish your wide receiver did that in fantasy? So he's putting up wide receiver type targets and receptions. And then on top of that, he's also running back. He'll get some carries. But the price is just absolutely amazing. So I had to mention that. Even though the matchup seems bad against the Niners might be kind of beat up and just calling it quits this year. It's pretty much over for them. They really needed to win that game against the Bills, and they did not. And yeah, their defense didn't look that good against the Bills. Even their run defense didn't look great. And I'm just watching the game, right? Like, Bills are not a great rushing team with the running backs. So seeing them at least give up a little bit of yardage to the running backs seemed pretty demoralizing, I'd say, for the Niners defense. Kind of got your hopes down that, hey, this somehow could be a great defense even with all these injuries, and which was the storyline just a week ago and is the opposite storyline now. 4K Club really quick. I'll just go through these guys really quick. So Kerryon Johnson, if Swift doesn't play, 4,200. He's not in the 4K club, I know. But Gore is expected to play, questionable. 4K, that's going to be great value for him if he's playing, he's starting. And then we got Jeff Wilson. I don't trust this one. This is the one I trust like the least, my God. Because Raheem Mostert said his ankle's never going to be 100% this year, but it's still Coach Shanahan. You never know what's going to happen. Is Tevin Coleman going to get 2 carries? Is McKinnon going to get any snaps? Is Jeff Wilson going to be the main back? Is it going to be Mostert? I don't know. You don't know, but we do know that Wilson is in the 4K club. I did want to mention him because I'm trying to make this 4K club a thing. With wide receivers, lots of great options at the top, including Davante Adams, who just might be worth the price. Probably not for me, and I'll probably regret that. One guy like Allen Robinson, 6,800, who's kind of obvious and in that high price range, but oh boy, do I like him this week going against the Texans. Will Fuller wasn't the only Texan that got suspended. Their best cornerback got suspended as well. I don't know what's going on there. But we do have A-Rob, 6,800, going against the Texans. Gotta love it. Devontae Parker, 6,100, in a game where the Dolphins may have to throw a lot. This one I love. This is the GPP life. This is the way, right? BMW, Big Mike Williams, 4,700, going against the Falcons. This is the stack you want with Herbert. He can catch touchdowns. He has a lot of upside, and his floor is not very good. Price is great. Doesn't that sound like a GPP play to you? We see him put up 1 point. We see him put up 30 points. We see him put up 21 points. We see him put up 5 points, 17. Like, he's all over the place. And that's exactly what we like. If we can get a 20-plus game from Mike Williams, that value is going to be incredible. Just an example, he's less than half. No, he's not less than that. That's terrible bad. He's about half the price as Davante Adams. So, like I said, if you can get more than half amount of fantasy points, that's going to be great as one of these expensive wide receivers like Jefferson, AJB, Ridley, Hopkins, Keenan Allen, Metcalf, Tyreek Hill, Davante Adams. If those guys are getting 30 and Mike Williams is getting 16, that's going to work out just great and gives you a lot of flexibility for your lineup. And then we got Russell Gage, who I'm the most hesitant about recommending to you guys, because this Falcons team, and specifically Russell Gage, has definitely done the opposite of what we thought. Every time you want to say Gage is going to have a good game, he doesn't. And when you least expect it, he has a couple good games. But still, I did my research. It looks like Gage is going to be matched up against the worst cornerback. So the best DB to wide receiver matchup for the Falcons, Chargers D, not that great. Their defense is very banged up. Julio Jones is out. And with me saying all that and fantasy enthusiasts getting burned maybe multiple times by Gage, we might be able to get him at a contrarian ownership. So maybe he will be a little bit of a sleeper. I think Matt Ryan will have a good game. We really can't trust Matt Ryan, but we know they throw the ball a lot. And this is full PPR. So I'm going with my research. It's GPP. He's not to be trusted, but the price is great. The matchup is great. They're going to throw the ball. And Julio Jones is out. Targets should go up. I really do like Russell Gage. GPP life. Brexton Berrios. It's getting gross here. But hey, he's in the 3K club. Matchup is okay. Seahawks, they've been actually pretty good against the pass recently, but they still rank 32nd. And Denzel Mims is out. Don't know what's up with the Jets at all, or the other wide receivers, if they're playing or not. And then we have one that I really can't recommend to you, but he is in the 3K club. AJ Green, great matchup. Maybe he'll talk to the quarterback. I think will be Brandon Allen, and be like, hey, give me the ball so I can get some money this offseason. Please, I play hard. Please do it. Please, please, please. Or maybe they're tanking. I don't know. This is not one that's great, but this is a super punt. It's still AJ Green, or it's really not. He hasn't looked like himself at all this year. He's been a complete bust. But Cowboys D. Really, that's only one thing. Like, even the price is so good, it still doesn't entice me to pick AJ Green. So the price ain't doing it for me. What's doing it is they're playing the Cowboys, who's a complete mess. So I don't know. Minimum priced. Used to be all pro, going up against the Cowboys. That's all I got. Maybe he'll do something. What does he need? If the man gets 3 catches, he'll probably hit value, right? 3 catches? Yeah, 3 catches. Maybe 4. But yeah, if he gets 3 receptions, I should be able to hit value. Let's just say 4 receptions. Okay, if he gets 4 receptions and you get him at 3K, that's going to be great. All right. AJ Green, can you get 4 receptions? It's doable, man. It's doable. I'm probably going to fade Waller and not go with him. Kelsey, extremely expensive. Could be worth the price, though. He's just that dang good. Let's go to some less. Hawkinson, very obvious pick. Absolutely love him this week, by the way. Not so obvious. Noah Fant. This has been kind of gross, but like I said, I see a little bit of upside in Drew Lock. He's not my best recommendation to you guys, but this guy, I don't know why he's not better this year. One reason is definitely the injury, and this year's been crazy for most teams. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of obstacles, a lot of craziness. And teams can't practice, people can't play, people get injured. Just a lot going on. But I really, this one's really puzzling to why he's not doing better, though. And we saw at least against the Chiefs, he did something. He got 7 targets. So let's see if he'll get 8 or more targets this game. One thing that's good about Noah Fant is that he sucked this year, and we will be able to get him at contrarian ownership percentages. So that's going to be cool. And the price is good. Not too good to where everyone's going to be on him, but just good enough to where he's still fairly cheap, and we'll be able to pick him without, it'll be right under that radar. He won't be super contrarian, but he won't be super popular either. I don't think, at least. I do like him. 4,100 going against the Panthers, by the way. Then we have Dalton Schultz, kind of a boring pick, good floor. He's really the only tight end there. He's the one that, lined up almost all the time. I think they got Blake Bell, whatnot, but you get what I mean. And he gets consistent targets. So he's going to get at least 4 or 5 targets. He's going to get you at least 68 fantasy points. He's going to be good. So not necessarily GPP, a perfect GPP mold play, but at 3,500, he's a good price at the very least. Now, one that is a good GPP play is Cole Kmet, 2,900. Got 7 targets last week. That's pretty freaking impressive. May have taken over that Jimmy Graham role. Going up against the Texans is a sweet matchup. And I always talk about, it's not always, you don't just look at how do they do against tight ends. That's just partially the story. You got the Texans D is bad, and whoever's going to be defending Cole Kmet's probably not going to be good. So that's why I do like him, and the price is amazing. Defenses, pretty simple. The top two defenses are the Saints and Seahawks, and I have them tied as far as projections. But Seahawks, $800 cheaper, is going to provide much more value. So they're my favorite defense, hands down. Other options that you can go with that are cheaper is Washington, 2,800 going against the Niners. Cardinals, 2,700 going against the Giants. And then the Niners, 2,700 going against Washington. Then we have the Cowboys defense. That's right. 2,400 going against the Bengals. It depends which team you hate the most. And then we get the Bengals D going against the Cowboys. But those names I shouted out at the end really quick are just alternate options. That's how I like to do on these videos. I gave you my top two, Saints, Seahawks, and then I gave you some alternates because those two are expensive. So I did want to give some other defenses that are cheaper for you guys. And this Cowboys-Bengals game, it's going to be messy. It's going to be unpredictable, but it should be low scoring. And so both of those, one of them might emerge as a decent defense. We'll see. Just takes one of those crazy plays, right? A pick six, a sack strip fumble, a block, and in a game like this with two poopy poop teams, those type of things could really happen. All right, guys, I'm going to head out here, do the Patreon live stream. I do live streams every Friday for Patreon only. So check out the link in the description for that, patreon.com/fantasycouch. Thank you guys so much for the support this year. It's been insane. It's been great. Couch fam, you guys are the best fantasy football community. We're the best fantasy football community. Make sure you guys are subscribed to both Fantasy Couch YouTube channels, this one, and Fantasy Couch Podcast. No, I didn't. I did not forget my channels. So subscribe to both of them. Really helps support the couch. It's free. And lots of good content on there. Lots of fun on the second channel as well. Smash this with a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thumbs down if you didn't. I read every single comment. So leave a YouTube comment. I will respond, especially if you have a fantasy question or want a second opinion about your team. Peace out and good luck.